If you've been wondering lately about the choices you can make that are going to impact your mental health and well-being, well, I'm sure glad you've joined us today for another episode of Through a Rosy Window Into Wellness. In this season, we've been going out into Fort St. John, our village, to find those people who are making such an impact on mental health and well-being. I hope that you've caught some of our previous episodes. We asked some of the people who have dedicated their lives to helping other people. It's part of their jobs, part of their career, part of their business and organization. And we asked them what they did for their own mental health and well-being. So in today's episode, we get to speak to a couple people that are making a huge difference, and also following that thread of what are the things that we can do to have better mental health. A very important element of good physical and mental health and well-being is, of course, good nutrition. So we went out into our community and found an expert in her field. Melanie has a very vibrant business. She's counseling people with mindful eating manners, and I hope you enjoy the excerpts from this interview that we had with her.
Well, I've always loved food, eating food, making food, and I really find the science of food and nutrition very interesting. So, yeah, going to school to become a dietitian has helped me to understand how food and nutrition affects your body and ultimately your mental health. And my passion really is to help people make empowered food choices to feel your best. I think there is more awareness now. People are becoming more aware of the gut-brain axis. There's that connection between the nervous system and our gut and our brain, and it really does communicate. So, for example, I also work with people with IBS, and a lot of their symptoms will be relieved when we work on stress management techniques and just, even mindful eating, slowing down, taking the time to chew their foods can make a big difference. I moved to Fort St. John in 2006 for a full-time job with Northern Health. I really do like the small town community feel. I moved from down in the lower mainland, so I really do appreciate smaller town, more community. I help men and women that struggle with weight loss, and they identify that they struggle with emotional and stress eating. So that's my target audience. And it's to help you transform your relationship with food so you can make empowered choices to be the best you can be. And I can work with youth. I can accommodate family sessions. Like I have a family nutrition consult, which is the same length of time. It's a 90-minute session with the parent and child, or if they're a teenager, they might come on their own. But you may know or may not know what to eat. It's really they're struggling with the behavior change part. So that's where I can help come into play and coaching you with giving you that weekly accountability to implement the healthy habits that you're working on one step at a time. This month I'm launching the Mindful Eating Method program. It's a 12-week program to really help you transform your relationship with food, implementing those healthy habits with a flexible mindset. Will support you with meal planning and mindful eating practices so that you can lose that unwanted weight while maintaining your lean muscle mass. Or we really do want to discourage diets mentality, and so finding food freedom with empowered choices and a flexible mindset. I've successfully launched a group craving change program. It's to help people understand why they eat the way they do, to really get to the underlying reasons for their stress or their boredom or their emotional eating. And it really we teach you how to change, like using the cognitive behavioral approach. I am also available for corporate workshops. Like I have actually prepared and launched a nutrition for mental health presentation that I have delivered. So these presentations are also available for any workplace facility. So I can just contact me through my website, www.mindfuleatingmatters.ca. I also have blogs on my website as well on nutrition and mental health. one thing I feel is important in the community is we could offer more like grocery store tours or free nutrition tours. And so that's something I have partnered with Homesteader Health Food and Save On Foods, that I can offer those resources for people. So I personally struggle with anxiety, poor sleep, procrastination, high expectations of myself. So that's something that, yeah, it's with self-awareness, I've identified that. And then, yes, there's just now there's tools and practices that I can use to help my own personal well-being. So to maintain my mental health, I think the first thing I need to prioritize is prayer in my life, to trust, to put my faith in God and Jesus, because I can't live this life on my own. Um, Definitely getting outside for some fresh air every day, even if it's 10 or 15-minute walk of fresh air, that really does re-energize me physically and mentally and helps me to focus. And yeah, even if I feel anxious or overwhelmed, taking 3 deep breaths, really focusing on inhaling and exhaling really slowly, really trying to eat clean whole foods can make a difference. Prioritizing, planning balance, 3 meals a day and healthy snacks, really focusing on nutrition dense foods like nuts, seeds, beans, lentils, fish, whole grains, fiber rich foods like fruits and vegetables. So really trying to eat clean whole foods can make a difference for people, and limiting the processed convenient food. For working in smaller communities, I really find it's important to make those community connections, and it seems there is almost more opportunity when you're in a smaller town.
There is a connection between good mental health and being outdoors. Humans do well in fresh air and sunshine and being in touch with nature. We would be remiss if we didn't speak to the winters here in Fort St. John, and how wonderful it is that we have groups and people and organizations that are full of wonderful activities and fun that we can have in the north in the winter. From ice sculpturing to snowmobile clubs to the ski hills. But I had the opportunity to go and visit the clubhouse of the Whiskey Jack Nordic Ski Club, who are cross-country skiers. They're a family-friendly organization, and Sarah Altina is going to tell us all about it.
So I came to Fort St. John in 2013 with my family, my young kids, and my now ex-husband. He still also lives in the area, and we came here for his job, which is pretty standard. If you ask most imports to town, that seems to be a pretty common answer. But it didn't take very long for us to really start feeling like this was a homey place. It was a good community to raise small children in. House prices are affordable, all kinds of perks. And I think that if you find some hobbies and a group of people that you connect with, this place really can be home. It really is what you make it, has been my experience. So I got involved with the ski club when my kids were quite young. I was looking for a winter hobby that wasn't going to cost an arm and a leg to get them involved in. I didn't have any big toys. I didn't have big trucks and snowmobiles and all of those kinds of things for those kinds of winter hobbies. And this is close to town. It's just about 15 minutes from downtown Fort St. John. And I thought, an hour a week for a couple of weeks, I can get my kids out for that. I grew up in Vancouver where I didn't ever have snow around. So I showed up here my first day, and it's like nobody told me there was hills and cross-country skiing, and I had to get on skis with my kids, and that's how I learned to ski, was in the bunnies program with my youngest child. That was a couple of years ago now. They're all much older. And I just really felt it was my turn to start contributing to the club. They had served me and my children quite well. It was something I had come to really enjoy. And there's always a need in volunteer organizations for people to step up and fill those needs to make those programs happen. And so I was able to step into a coaching role with the bunnies. So that's for kids who are age 4 and 5. And it is the most fun winter hobby I've found. To see them all with their rosy cheeks out there on skis every week is just a lot of fun. So that's how I got involved. And the president of the club asked me if I had some interest in sitting on the board of directors to help. So I sit on the board of directors as the social media communication person. And that's been really great too. I've really enjoyed it. The Whiskey Jack Nordic Ski Club was started in 1982 ahead of the 1984 Winter Games. They needed some ski trails, and so there was a quick map drawn out on the back of a napkin, and that's how they started out. There was about 8 kilometers of narrow trails for people to use, and then ahead of the 2010 Winter Olympics, there were some grants available to help expand the trails. And so that was completed in 2012, 2013. And so now we have 15 kilometers of much wider groomed trails that we get to use here in Fort St. John. Our club really caters to anybody. If you can walk, you can probably ski. So we have little kids who learn to ski the same year they learn to walk, and their skis are just the cutest little thing. And we've got people out on the trails, my grandparents' age, who are still out here enjoying skiing in all kinds of weather and all kinds of conditions. It really is a lifelong activity. And that is one of the things that makes it so great for our community, is that anybody can get involved. So our club is big on community. We have this great lodge here, and we have kids lessons that start, all lessons, regardless of age and ability, start at 1 o'clock on Saturdays. And that was really set up to be family friendly so that families could come all together. Kids could take off in their lessons, parents could go off ski for a little bit, come back, meet at the end of lessons, and then come up to the lodge for a hot chocolate. So we have that skills development program. Cal Tire is the provincial sponsor across all of BC for some of those programs. So we're really grateful for that support. We also have had in the past and hope to offer again this coming season is adult lessons. And so that's a set of 3 lessons that you can sign up for and come and learn to ski. After you learn a couple of basic skills, it's really practice. And that's what is one of the things that's so great about it. You can take it really leisurely, or you can go at a breakneck pace like some of our members do. They're phenomenal. But we don't do any competitions yet. That's really a coach capacity thing. So all of our members, from our board members to our day lodge volunteers to our coaches, everybody is a volunteer, and you can only take programs so far with so many people without burning those people out. So we're really conscious of that, trying not to overload our system. And there's some logistics living where we live to get to competitions. It is something that some of our older kids that have now come through that ski program are hoping to achieve in the next season. So it would be really neat to see what they think about that after they put in the work to do some fundraising and get where they want to go. We also have rentals, which is another great thing that we can offer our community. Rentals are about $10. So it's really cheap to get out here and try it, see if you like it, your boots, your skis, your poles, and you can take off down the trails and test it out, get outside in the boreal forest in winter. It's a pretty great alternative to either really motorized sports or to sitting at home and not getting out. You can come for 20 minutes and feel happy, or you could be here all day on a Saturday or Sunday when the lodge is open. We also have members events. We partner sometimes with the Conservation Society in Charlie Lake for things like astronomy night. We hosted bird watching and a boreal plant taste testing in the summer. And we hosted a ski and yoga. That was pretty cool. There's a couple of community organizations that have rented the lodge from us to host their annual family days, things like that. So the lodge is available for rent, which really helps us offset some of our costs. We do fun things as well, like lantern skis on the winter solstice. And the school groups come out and they get ski lessons here as well. So we work with School District 60 to get kids out here and experience some skis. That was really fun last spring to see kids here on their spring break renting skis because they had enjoyed themselves when they were here with their school groups. And there again, the parents not knowing what to do, but they were able to sit out on our patio and watch their kids in the stadium and down we call them Bruce's bumps and jumps. One of our coaches always digs out all kinds of jumps for our kids to practice their balance on. So yeah, it's really great. It's good to see all kinds of people out here enjoying the trails. Our biggest success in our club in the last couple of years has really been this lodge that we're in today. Our president, Eliza Stanford, this was her dream child, to have a lodge that was a meeting place for all kinds of people to come and get together and enjoy these trails and enjoy this sport. And she really worked tirelessly to make this happen. And having this space has really allowed our club to expand in a lot of ways, to start offering all of these kinds of specialized nights, these fun things that we're able to do. And our sense of community has really grown because there's room for people to come and sit and enjoy with their family, their friends. People can come for lunch before their ski. They can come for hot chocolate and cookies, sit by the fire, dry out, and go back out skiing again. It really has prolonged our ability to enjoy the season. Even on a really cold day, you can still come and warm up and enjoy being outside, which is so important for our health, our bodies, and our minds. So this lodge really is our biggest triumph of the last couple of years. Our club is well supported. If we go to certain companies, they will give us what we need, and we barely have to ask. We're so grateful to them, and we try to thank them all on our social media. We also really, really love to partner with the search and rescue department. They've helped us for a couple of events, and so they're a big support to us. And what our club needs most is members. Our membership drives the kinds of grants that we can apply for. It drives equipment competitions and things like that we can apply for as a club. That's based on registrations. So the more memberships we have, the more equipment and opportunities we can offer. That also helps us pay for the grooming that happens on the trails, the maintenance that we need to be able to ski in the first place. Our club operates inside of a provincial park, but we don't get funding from them to maintain trails or anything like that. All of our membership dollars and our grants and our donors support that for us. And we really need volunteers. There isn't any reason that we couldn't have 500 members in this club and that we can't have the lodge open every day and we couldn't have lessons happening several times a week, except that we don't have enough volunteers. Our community, like I say, the financial support is great. And if there's a company who wants to give for a direct purpose, we had a company give directly for lighting in the stadium. We have AAA Safety, who always helps us out with all of our safety needs here, fire extinguishers, first aid kits, those kinds of things. And then we've got lots of companies too that give us donations to go into our general operations, and we really appreciate that too. And we want to see people here smiling, having fun. That's what we need to encourage us and to keep going as volunteers, is to see people using these services. It's a great location. The trails are wonderful. It's a great community of people, some really lovely people in the club. And yeah, we'd love to see you out here. And if you want to get involved, we're happy to find a spot for you. If I could give advice to a smaller ski club or a ski club that's just starting out, it would be really invest in your volunteers and building that community with them, because these kinds of organizations don't exist without people doing this volunteer work. We need to find people who are passionate and share some vision and build those communities. And we have had great success asking our community to support us in our endeavors. Fundraising dollars, advertising, things like that. They've been really good to us. So you have to not be afraid to ask. That's how I ended up on the board. Somebody asked me and I said yes. And I think just really, yeah, draw in that community and ask people to volunteer. And likewise for folks in the community, if you're not volunteering somewhere, find somewhere that you feel passionate about and offer them a couple hours a week or a weekend a month or whatever it is that you have to give, because I'm sure that they'd be able to find a great spot that suits you that you could contribute, and it would make a huge difference to that club or that organization. I think that our community does a great job of working with the resources that we have and making the most of those. And we live in a very industrious and creative community that's good at problem solving. There's lots of services that our community could benefit from. But again, that all stems from people. We need people to make those things happen. We need people who are passionate to step forward and prioritize projects or volunteer to take on projects that might seem daunting. We all know that there's gaps in our services in Fort St. John for healthcare, for community services, for sports, for all kinds of things. But the only way to change that is to get involved and to start on the ground. So with a club like ours, I've learned so much about how sports and donations and things like that work in our community. Some of the big players, some of the provincial players that are trying to help people, but nobody applies. So applying for grants, getting out there and creating those opportunities is really huge. I think anything is possible in our community. I think there's really great people here doing really good work all across the board. We just need more of them, and we need to be sharing those resources with each other and connecting more. So that again really comes down to building community in between organizations and filling in gaps for each other where we can. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just have to communicate and do that well. So skiing is one of the things that I do to maintain my mental health, especially through long, dark winters. I think it's really important to have a hobby that you can look forward to. So once I started skiing, that really helped me. You know, summer was over, the garden was taken, and I was like, bring on the snow, let's go skiing. So that really changed my perspective about how long and dark and cold it could be, to find a hobby that you can't do without snow. um, some of the other things that I do for my mental health are connecting with people. I have a very fulfilling job, which I'm grateful for, and I really like music, and we have a really great live music network in Fort St. John. There's always live shows down at the Festival Plaza. There's lots of great festivals throughout the summer months. Even our open mics, there's some really great musicians that sing at the open mics around town. So I really like music. And I like to play my little ukulele too, which I got lessons from a local musician for. So that's a cute little hobby. Another thing for my mental health is hiking. We live in such a beautiful area to head out, and you can climb any foothills or any mountain, within 2 hours of home, which is pretty phenomenal. And so I started that after I got divorced. I was working shift work, and so if you end up with a Tuesday, Wednesday off, and your kids are at their other parents' house, and you suddenly are an empty nester, and I wasn't used to such a quiet house, so I'd really forced myself to get out and find new hobbies. So I increased my skills and I increased my courage, and I started going out hiking by myself, which everybody thinks that I'm crazy. And of course I'm like, do you tell your male friends who hike alone that? Anyway, so that was really a very healing kind of journey for me, to be able to stand on top of a mountain and say, there isn't anything I can't do. We can do all kinds of things when we set our minds to it.
We're so glad that you've joined us today, and we hope that you found some inspiration in this episode for when you're making choices that will impact your mental health and well-being. Thank you.